finishing up the day, we've got my loaded lamb gyros with some grilled garlic tzatziki. Delicious, perfect to share amongst friends, down the dam, at the beach, in the backyard. So good. So what we're going to do, we're going to pimp it out a little bit. Really simple marinade. I've got some oregano, so just plucking the leaves of the oregano. All right. Next up, we need to get a little bit more flavor in there. Garlic powder, just sprinkle that in. We've got some salt. Seasoning's very important, particularly when we've got our red meats. I'm also going to do a good squeeze of lemon. Pepper time. Get that in there. Good grind of black pepper. I'm going to give all-rounder because we want to coat that whole leg of lamb. Get it in there. Perfect. Yum. Just sort of bringing that together, the garlic powder, the salt, the oil, obviously that oregano. Now it is time to get into marination station. So just pour it straight over the top, and we're going to dive in there with our hands. Those oregano leaves are on all sides of the lamb. Now you could probably leave this to marinate for an hour or so, do its thing, pop it in the fridge, but just when you are cooking your red meat, we always got to make sure that we have our lamb, our beef, at room temperature, okay? So we're not throwing cold lamb on the barbecue. That just isn't going to be a winner. To me, that is looking like a winner. The Everdure is nice and hot. Let's get on the barbecue. That is what I'm talking about. Smoke, flavor, flair. So good. Now we mentioned grilled garlic. So I'm just going to grab one of our garlic heads and wrap it up in some foil. And that is going to take up and make our grilled garlic tzatziki in a sort of cooler section of the barbecue. Medium heat on the force, perfect. Lid goes down, acts a bit like an oven. Okay, while the lamb's doing its thing, it's about 10 minutes each side, depending on the cut and how you like your lamb cooked. I'm going to get started on our tzatziki and a couple of our sides that we're going to serve with the gyros. So first of all, I'm going to finely dice a cucumber. So I'm just going to cut it straight down the middle, and then using a spoon, I'm just going to scrape out the seeds because they can be a little bit watery. And then we're going to do just a fine dice. There's that. We've got our yogurt. Cucumber can go in there. Little lemon cheek just to juice into the yogurt for a zesty sort of punch. And then some salt. Little drizzle. And then all this needs now really is that grilled garlic, which once it's nice and soft, we'll be able to squeeze out those nice caramelized, soft, garlicky cloves into this tzatziki. But for now, I'm just going to pop that aside. I'm going to check the lamb. Beautiful, we're getting there. That's what I'm talking about. Lid goes back down, the garlic's still doing its thing. Cucumber. Now the great thing, you know, having something like cucumber, we got the fresh tomatoes, we've obviously got the yogurt. That freshness just works so nicely with our grilled meats, especially this lamb. It really is a lovely combination. See Mr. Tommy Tomato. Our final little extra to go in with our veg is some finely sliced red onions. So good sharp knife is obviously very important. Fine, thin slices. Onion done, lemons there. That's our bowl of sides. The lamb is done, and I tell you, this is looking amazing. Juicy, succulent, and so good. I love the char. Better not forget the garlic. I love the look of a butterflied lamb leg. I'm gonna let that rest and do its thing. So the garlic is nice and soft. Everything's got to chill out before we slice it. But while that happens, we've got our pitas, which I'm going to grill into a pot. So that's going to go on the barbie too. And while that's happening, pita bread on the bars, just to soften, warm them through. I do love the fact that the Force has such a big surface area. You know, I've got 4 large pitas on there. We had a leg of lamb butterfly. We probably could have had 2. Big cooking area, big fun. Pop that down. Little butter, brush. Nothing crazy. Little butter, brush. The lamb is still resting because the cook is one part, the resting is another. That allows everything to sort of relax, you know, those fibers just loosen up again, all the juices just settle. And while that's doing it, we're going to play with some of our grilled garlic. And you can see that's nice and soft. You can almost just squeeze them out. Squeeze it out, scoop it up. So that's just sort of work its way through sauce. Delicious. We're going to pull the lamb out onto the board and slice it down at a bit of an angle, and that is just going to be perfect. Little lettuce, little cucumber, some tomato wedges, some onion, and load it up with some of our great southern lamb, and of course finish it off with a nice dollop of our grilled garlic tzatziki. Look at that.